Hello students, today we will discuss about the introduction and scope of pharmacology. So in overview or in this lecture we will discuss about the introduction, parts of pharmacology which includes history, materia medica and pharmacy, and in present we will discuss about the academics, research, industries and special domains. And in future we will discuss about the proteomics, pharmacogenomics and pharmacogenetics, bioinformatics and nanomedicine, and in the last we will discuss about the summary. So let us discuss about the introduction. So what is the definition of the pharmacology? So it is the study of substances that interact with living systems through chemical processes by binding to regulatory molecules and activating or inhibiting normal body processes. So, what is the scope of the pharmacology? It is an area in which something acts or operates or has power or control. So, students, what was the Materia Medica? So, it was a book containing names of herbs and medicines prepared from it. So, Dioscorides is the father of the Materia Medica. So, it includes the methods for purifying active agents from crude materials were absent. So, hence real understanding of mechanism of action was absent. So next is pharmacy. So it is a science and technique of preparing and dispensing drugs. So includes collection, identification, purification, isolation, synthesis, standardization, and quality control of medicinal substances. So pharmacology is an essential component in the study of pharmacy. So what is the present of the pharmacology? Universal of pharmacology, it includes special domains which are research, academics and industries. So research, academics and industries, they are interlinked with each other. So in research, stages of drug development, first stage is drug discovery phase, next phase is preclinical phase, and next phase is clinical trial phase. So in drug discovery phase, there is a random screening and serendipity, that is happy observation by chance, and rational drug designing and designing of a product or active material metabolite as a drug. So next is preclinical and experimental phase. So what is the aim of the preclinical or experimental phase? Its aim is to satisfy all the requirements which are needed before a compound is considered fit to be tested in the human beings. So it takes approximately 1.5 to 2 years. So out of 10,000 compounds screened, only 10 qualify for preclinical evaluation. So it deals with effect of various pharmacological agents on different animal species. So what is the aim of this? So its aim is to find out therapeutic agents suitable for human use, and for the study of toxicity of the drugs, and to study mechanism and site of action of drugs. So this phase was done by in vitro study that involves receptor characterization, enzyme inhibition. It also have enzyme inhibition, cytokine activity, and second is in vivo study animal experiments. So in case of clinical trial, so what is clinical trial? It is a systematic study of new drug in human subjects. So it has various phases. So its phase 1 have healthy volunteers, and the number of volunteers is between the 25 to 100. So it is an open label, and it determines safe dose and pharmacokinetics and any predictable toxicity. Second is phase 2. So patient with target disease determine efficacy and definitive endpoint. And next is early phase 2, which involves approximately 200 patients. It is single blind. So in case B, there is a late phase 2 which involves 200 to 400 patients, which is a double blind. So phase 3, it has 1000 to 5000 plus large scale multi-center double blind to further establish safety and efficacy. So these three phases take 5 to 6 years. So next is new drug application for licensing. So in case of phase 4, post licensing phase, its duration is not fixed. So periodic safety update reports, that is called PSUR, is to be submitted for by the every 6 months for the initial 2 years. Next is reverse pharmacology. So reverse pharmacology is the science of integrating documented clinical experimental health, uh, which into leads by transdisciplinary exploratory studies and further developing these into drug candidates by experimental and clinical research. So examples of reverse pharmacology are Wolfia alkaloids in hypertension, uh, Sorellans in vitiligo. So what is the concept of the reverse pharmacology? So it relates routine lab to clinic progress of discovery to clinic to lab. So it is a conventional method which involves molecule which is further tested in mice and then further tested in man. So in case of reverse pharmacology, man to mice and then there will be molecule. So in the process, safety remain most important starting point and efficacy becomes matter of validation. Next is academics. So it is a undergraduate education which you will be study introduction to drugs, mechanisms of actions, prescription writing, pharmaceutical preparations, and identification of adverse drug reactions. So in case of postgraduate education, there will be basic research, experimental pharmacology, pharmacokinetics, pharmacodynamics, clinical pharmacology, pharmacovigilance, and therapeutic drug monitoring. So in case of clinical pharmacology is a term which was coined by Harry Gold in 1950s. So basic science of pharmacology, it involves application of pharmacological principles and methods in the real world. So it makes pharmacology more attractive by bridging basic science and clinical science. So it is a platform for collaborative efforts between academia and pharmaceutical industry. So in case of frontiers of clinical pharmacology, there will be clinical trials, BA and BE studies, prescription audit, antibiotic stewardship, drug use survey, rational use of medicines, and TDM surveys. So in case of BA and BE study, bioavailability helps us deciding dose. So bioequivalent two drug expected to be same for all intents and purposes. So in case of prescription audit, to develop a list of essential drugs, rational use of drugs. So in case of antibiotics stewardship, a set of coordinated strategies to improve the use of antimicrobial medications. So it is enhancing patient health outcomes, reducing resistance to antibiotics, and decreasing unnecessary costs. Next is drug use survey. So it involves study of marketing, distribution, prescription, and use of drug in a society with special emphasis on the resulting medical, social, and economic consequences. So next is rational use of medicines. So it involves appropriate indication, step criteria, safety, tolerability, efficacy, and price. Next is correct dispensing and appropriate instructions to patient and adequate monitoring of patients adherence to the treatment. And next is watch for adverse effects of drugs. And Next is therapeutic drug monitoring. It is a concept of TDM is to individualize drug dosage to attain certain target plasma concentration and uses are drugs with low margin of safety. Example is digoxin, theophylline, antidepressants, and lithium. And next is if individual variations are large. Example is antidepressants and lithium. So in case of poisoning, and to check patient compliance, example is psychopharmacological agents. So in case of clinical pharmacology, it is making heartbeats felt. So by this time, the busy clinicians have started understanding the different approach of a clinical pharmacologist in answering several drug and therapeutic related questions. So there will be need of local guideline for the treatment. So which was realized by very of for clinicians. So the first guideline which was generated in by the WHO for the management of community acquired pneumonia, and clinical pharmacologists were invited as a part of team of experts. So in case of industries which involve research, that is development of new drug, medical advisor, medical transcription, medical marketing, product management, and contract research organization, and then there will be training. So in case of medical advisor, the analysis of the health of the population and evaluation of primary care services and planning of services and advice on effective prescribing and education for general practitioners. So in case of medical transcriptions, the process of transcription or converting voice recorded report as dictated by physicians and or other healthcare professionals into text format. And next is what is medical marketing. It is a business of advertising or otherwise promoting the sale of the pharmaceuticals of drug. So next is contract research organization. So it is a service organization that provides support to the pharmaceutical and biotechnology industries in the form of outsourced pharmaceutical research services for both drug and medical devices. So clinical research organizations provide clinical study and clinical trial support for drugs and for medical devices. So in case of training, uh, training is provided to the medical representatives, to the physicians, Academy for Clinical Excellence, and Indian Society for Clinical Research. These all are involved in the training. So in case of special domains, there will be pharmacovigilance, pharmacoeconomics, pharmacoepidemiology, and chronopharmacology. So if we just look at the pharmacovigilance, it is made up of two words, pharmacon and vigilare. Pharmacon means drug and vigilare means to keep watch. So according to the WHO, pharmacovigilance is a science and activities relating to the detection, assessment, understanding, and prevention of adverse effects or any other possible drug related problems. So adverse drug reactions were fourth most common cause of death in US in 1997. So the role of pharmacovigilance can be divided into three main areas: to identify, quantify, and document drug-related problems, to contribute to reduce the risk of drug-related problems in healthcare systems, to increase knowledge and understanding of factors and mechanisms which are responsible for drug-related injuries. So, Pharmacovigilance Program of India. It is a in this case WHO established its program for international drug monitoring in response to the thalidomide disaster detected in 1961. So Upasana and WHO together promotes pharmacovigilance at the country level. So at the end of the 2010, 134 countries were part of the WHO pharmacovigilance program. So the program is coordinated by the Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission located at Ghaziabad. So adverse drug reaction reporting through VGFlow. So what is VGFlow? It is a web-based Indian case safety report, that is ICSR management system, that is specially designed for use by national centers in the WHO program for international drug monitoring. So the version, that is version of VGFlow, that is VGFlow 5.1, was released on 14th of June 2013. So subscription for VGFlow is free in India. So next we have pharmacoeconomics. So pharmacoeconomics is a branch of health economics which particularly focuses upon the cost and benefits of the drug therapy. So it is an innovative method that aims to decrease health expenditures while optimizing healthcare results. So it involves two major methodologies. First one is cost analysis and next is cost outcome. So in case of pharmacoeconomic method are used to assist physicians, hospitals, insurers, patients and healthcare professionals in making important decisions as to what drug therapies should be chosen. So pharmacoeconomics is used to determine which drug should be included in the formulary by choosing the most effective treatment at the lowest price. So it has been found that 86% of hospital pharmacists indicate that pharmacoeconomic data is used in formulary decision making. So pharmacoeconomic studies consider the total cost incurred from the disease. So it has both direct and indirect cost. So in case of pharmacoepidemiology, study of drugs among people, that is pharmacon, is drugs. Epi related to the amongst, demos means people, and logos related to the study. So pharmacoepidemiology is the study of use and effects of drugs in large number of persons. So pharmacoepidemiology is the application of epidemiologic reasoning methods and knowledge to the study of uses and effects of drugs in human population. So pharmacoepidemiology is related or have both clinical pharmacology and epidemiology. Next is pharmacoepidemiology involves causality and incidence of adverse drug reactions and effectiveness of new drug in defined population, pattern of prescribing in a particular healthcare facility area, and strategies to improve prescribing and economic impact of drug use. Next is chronopharmacology, the study of how the effects of drug vary with biological timing and endogenous periodicities. So it is a method used in pharmacokinetics to describe the diurnal change in plasma drug concentration. Example is H2 blockers should taken in evening or early night when acid secretion is increasing. Next is glucocorticoid. So it has major adverse effects, that is adrenocortical suppression, which have significantly attenuated if correctly timed to uh, circadian rhythms. So best tolerated when ingested as a single daily dose in the morning at start of a daily activity span. So it have both a moderate dose in evening between dinner and bedtime. So risk of adrenocortical suppression is heightened even after a few days of treatment. And what is the future of have proteomics, pharmacogenomics and pharmacogenetics, bioinformatics and nanomedicine. So proteomics is the large scale study of proteins, particularly their structure and functions. So the proteomics is the study of proteome, that It is a study of the proteome, the protein component of the genome. So disease mechanism or drug effects both affect a protein profile and vice versa. And characterizing protein profile reveals information for the understanding of disease and therapy. So proteomics in disease treatment. So many human diseases are caused by a normal protein being modified improperly. So this also can only be detected in the proteome, not the genome. So the targets of almost all medical drugs are proteins. So by identifying this protein, proteomics aids the progress in disease treatment. So pharmacogenomics and pharmacogenetics. So the pharmacogenomics is use of genetic information to guide the choice of drug and dose on an individual basis. So analysis and comparison of the entire genome of single species or of multiple species. So it has a genome which is the set of all genes possessed by an organism. So pharmacogenetics is study of genetic basis for variability in drug response. So if we look at the role of pharmacogenomics, it has a very important role in the new drug discovery, in the clinical trials, and reintroduction of withdrawn or failure compound, identification of responder and non-responder, and in maximizing efficacy and in minimizing adverse drug reactions. So here is a hope for the future, in which the when the patient gets sick, patient goes to a doctor and doctor checks the symptoms, and then doctor order various tests, that is blood, urine, biopsy, bone marrow, DHA, saliva, hair and stool test, etc. So doctor determines, then the result comes of the various test comes, then doctor determines cause of the sickness, then based on patient's genes doctor prescribes appropriate drugs. So ultimately patient gets benefit. So what is the future of the pharmacogenetics? So genetic genomic inter-individual variability may lead to genotype-specific development of new drugs. So once adequate genotype-phenotype studies have been conducted, molecular diagnostic tests will be developed that detect 95% of the important genetic variants for the majority of the polymorphisms. So the genetic tests have the advantage that they need only be conducted once during an individual's lifetime. So in case of bioinformatics, it is a unified discipline formed from the combination of biology, computer science, and information technology. So it is a mathematical, statistical, and computing method that aim to solve biological problems using DNA and amino acid sequences and related information. So the primary goal of bioinformatics is to increase the understanding of biological processes. So next is nanomedicine. So nanomedicine is defined as the monitoring, repair, construction, and control human biological systems at the molecular level using engineered nano devices and nanostructures. So nanomedicine offers delivery of potential drugs which were previously beyond reach of microscale drugs due to specific biological barriers. So current applications of nanotechnology in medicine range from research involving diagnostic devices and drug delivery vehicles to robots that can enter the body and perform specific tasks. So, what is nanopharmacology? It involves drug design and drug delivery to selected targets to improve pharmacodynamics and kinetic profiles towards safer and effective treatment. So, nanomedicine offers delivery of potential drugs which were previously beyond reach of microscale drugs due to specific biological barriers. So what is the summary? So pharmacology is backbone of the medicine, And for rational use of drugs in day-to-day clinical practice, knowledge of pharmacology become essential. So it has wide scope in research, academics, industries, which opens us doors for opportunities in career development. So with the technology development, it is going to be more advanced in future for treatment of patients. So students, that was all for the day. Thank you.